Intuitive eating is beautiful. The major problem I have with it is that the leadership came out and said food addiction doesn't exist. And that's the only bone I have to pick.
It's a pretty big bone.
It's a big bone.
It's a big bone because it doesn't take into account big food, and that food is created, the highly processed food is created for us to want more.
I've made the argument that intuitive eating is perfect for the person that doesn't have a lot of trauma history, doesn't have gut issues, doesn't have inflammation, just is sort of a product of diet culture.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's a lot of biology involved, you can't assume that the body is going to be working at optimum. So you have to heal the body first.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what does that? Food, stress management, recovery, relationships. I think the primary mechanism that would override intuition would be alterations in the reward pathways. So there's a lot of evidence that suggests that there are biological pathways through inflammation. Perhaps the inflammation starts in the gut. It's a chronic stress response, and it can cross the blood-brain barrier. It's called neuroinflammation, and it can change the brain. There's also the more behavioral linkage where people learn to self-soothe. If they have trauma symptoms and they're dissociating, they're going to learn to use things like highly palatable foods to reduce the negative affect. Yeah. The brain is going to assign it more value, right? And that's how addictive processes begin.